We've done a lot of talking over the past couple of days about the price spikes with Final Fantasy and how expensive all the search foils are, and obviously the market is going crazy, unprecedented. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. I thought maybe for a different change of pace today, we'd talk about a few cards that I think are actually cheap enough that they could be good long-term pickups and won't really break the bank, while people are kind of throwing all their money towards the search foils to some of the unmistakably powerful cards in that set. So if you guys enjoy the video, as always, just if you toss a like and subscribe, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about some of the cards I'm going to throw out there today. But yeah, if you guys have been following the market, obviously we've seen some crazy movement continuing. The surge foils are still really high. A lot of the comments on my recent videos were very divided, with some people saying like it's Final Fantasy collectors buying stuff they want to collect, and other people saying it's market manipulation. I don't really know what it is exactly. I know I was fortunate enough to make a little bit of money, but also get some stuff that I like. I know that the values are crazy, but I also know that that kind of sucks for people who want to get stuff and have to deal with the absolutely outlandish prices, that go on there. So I want to talk about a few cards today. I think Ultima Origin of Oblivion is a card that we did a lot of conversing about early before the set actually released. There are some rumors of Eldrazi potentially being released in Edge of Eternities. I mean, the very early previews didn't really show any, but that doesn't mean much at this juncture. This card in general, though, really good for colorless or waste-reliant decks in both Commander and potentially other formats if there were other cards that could kind of work to build around him. As of right now, I guess he probably isn't all that great, but he's got some good artwork. He has a lot of potential, and especially in Commander, but like I said, elsewhere potentially. And he's only $4 for his regular version and about $8 to $9 for the foil. So less than $10 for the most premium version. If it's a card you're interested in, it definitely is a possibility that down the road this card could be worth a decent amount of money if people start to make use of it in Commander. And given that this is this foil borderless is the highest rarity version technically, unless you count the extended art foil from the bundle, but generally speaking, I think that might be a more niche. This has the alternate art. I really do think this card's a decent value right now at either price. That's not to say it may not dip before it goes back up. I know people are going to say, well, more play boosters are coming. Yeah, they are, and they might. But overall, I mean, looking at the card right now, it's certainly not a terrible price. Noctis is another one that I think is really interesting because people are really gravitating towards these borderless background cards with the foil. Obviously, with the surge foils being priced out as much as they are, people are going for the next best thing, which is the foil version of these. I think this looks really nice. I think they all look really nice. I think they did a great job with the foiling for these cards in the set. This card's around $4 and probably close to about $7 for the foil. In terms of some of the lower end characters, and I don't mean to insult any characters, but I'm talking characters I'm not immediately familiar with. As a limited fan, as I've said. I know people went after Cloud, Sephiroth, Aerith, whatever, very quickly, Tifa, but people might start to go after some of these too, and there's not like the biggest supply of foils. I mean, there's a lot of listings here, obviously, because you can pull these in play boosters too, but there's been a lot of market movement on the colorful background ones, so just some food for thought. It's still pretty cheap, and this card's like fairly decent, I think. Summon Titan, one of my favorite cards from the set as a whole, is only about $4 for its showcase, but it does break like 10 to 12 for its foil. I think this card's so good in Commander. I think it actually looks like it might have a place in Standard as well. But in Commander, I mean, so many different enchantment decks, saga decks. I'm playing it in a few different things. It's just a really strong card for green. Anything that cares about lands. And I think this is just fantastic artwork, to be honest. Like I said, I don't really have a personal connection to it, but for $5, I think it's a good deal. And if it's a card you envision yourself playing down the road a little bit, I mean, $10. These are all kind of like weird calls, right? Because I could be wrong and these could continue to drop. But I did this for Tarkir, and there were a few we did hit on. So, we have a small bit of success rate. I don't necessarily think this card's going to spike anytime soon, although I will mention that its chart has quite literally done that. Going from like $1 and change up to 10 and change, so maybe it's decent. I mean, obviously, it's always important to do your research. I say that every time, but like, make sure before you buy anything, you're like making sure that it makes sense for you. Don't just like buy it stupidly. Lord knows I've done that. Dark Confidant's another one I wanted to talk about because this card's borderless mythic version. The artwork is so cool. Again, don't have a huge connection to Final Fantasy, so I don't know if it's what it's supposed to represent. But it is such a beautiful artwork, and it's a really good card. It's been printed a few times, double masters, and then I believe there was another, obviously like its original printing and stuff, but it's a good value card, and the foil looks really nice. It's about $16. I think that's a little on the high end. I think that'll probably stay or settle, but I mean, I don't know, $7, $8 for one, not bad if you want one. it gets tricky when you're looking at like if it's the best time to pick it up, because I think Dark Confidant will probably continue to drop anyway for the other versions. It's just how often is the borderless mythic gonna pop up, you know? It's around $5 to $6 per copy, so it's cheap. Even the regular Final Fantasy one down here is $5. Probably can't see it on the screen super well because of that layout, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad buy. I think it's $8 and change for the regular one is potentially a good deal. I think Terra is another one I'm a big fan of. The card's just really strong. It's got a lot of application. Good for enchantment. Her backside when you turn her around, being able to make tokens and add mana. There's so much to like about this card, and it does have an alternate borderless version, but this base version of the card is still a mythic and it's still really strong. It's only like $7. I can't speak to the character's popularity, but I think this card's going to be better as time passes. So we're playing the game of is there going to be so much of a demand with the reprints of Final Fantasy that the card's going to go down, or is it just going to continue to steadily rise as a card that people want to see play and people are still ripping stuff open? I don't know. Good card, though. It's really good, and I think getting it at under $8, I mean, I think is a really, really safe pickup if you're looking for something cheap. If you want something super cheap, actually, we got Esper Origins, I think is a pretty cool card, just want to mention. Nice foil on the backside there. It's like 2 and change, so pretty good for its borderless, and I think the regular version is way cheaper, and like 5 for the foil. It's just a good card. I feel like what it does is solid. I feel like its ability to give stuff trample is solid. I just kind of like everything about it, especially if you are playing mill decks. So, yeah, it's a cool card, and it's super cheap. And even if you're not interested in the borderless, I just kind of gravitate towards that one, but even the regular one's probably like decent long-term, but I think borderless is where you're going to go. Card I think is kind of undervalued. Genji Glove is really good. It's only 2 and change, like 7 or 8 for the foil. Gives the equipped creature double strike, and then when it attacks, if it's the first combat, that creature untaps, you get another combat phase. It's a really strong card. And there are a lot of equipment decks in Commander that are super popular and will absolutely be able to make use of this card. And I feel like it's really cheap. Now, I'm not saying go buy it out or anything. What I'm saying is I feel like if you're looking at this card as something you might have interest in down the line, $2 and change for it is really not that bad, because I feel like this card is better in those specific equipment decks in terms of like how easy it can be to bypass the restriction costs and stuff, get this on, and then just kind of go. Yeah, it's a really, really strong card. I think it's undervalued, honestly, but I also think like it's not going to have the same level of fanfare, and it hasn't done anything competitively yet. This is definitely more Commander competitively than anything else. I don't see it doing much in other formats. But still worth looking at. I'm a huge fan of Ardan, the card. I played against it in the draft, and I was like, wait a minute, and then I started cooking something up, and I play this in a Reanimator deck now with that there's like black-green, and it's so strong. Just what it can do if you can get it out without having to worry about its cost is just super rewarding. I think this card's awesome. $3 for a foil. I bought a foil one of this. I had a regular one. I said I just want to own the foil copy. Like, it's a really cool card. And I think it's actually decent in Commander decks that can reanimate or have demon, mechanics. Obviously, it itself is not a demon, and playing it as a commander is crazy because it costs way too much. But I think it's one of those cards that, like, sneaky decent, and since its surge foil has kind of gone up to the point of, like, unreasonable right now, getting a regular foil copy of it, I think it's a relatively safe pickup, and I think it's a decent card for the future, especially for Commander. I do feel that way about Furion Wild Rules Warrior as well, and this is only like a $2 card or like 4 and change for the foil. I mentioned this in early reviews. Just a super strong card. Gives all your equipped creatures haste, then whenever a non-token equipment enters, you make a copy of it. Just so strong. I think it's a really cool card. I think it has a lot of potential. I think we saw the Surge Foil one jump from like 15, 20 to like 60 or whatever. So people are obviously looking at it, looking at everything. But equipment is really popular, and I don't know what it's going to be like in constructed, like standard formats and whatnot, but there might be something there. But this card just feels to me like it has a lot of potential, and in terms of like the best version of the card for the get the most bang for your buck, I think the borderless foil is definitely the way to go at under $5. But I think either one's pretty solid. And also, Aerith, I don't know why I said that so weird. Aerith Gainsborough is only $1 and change for the regular one. The foil's worth a little bit, but it's a decent card. It does a lot. I could see this seeing some play in a few different formats. It's like a somewhat better Ajani's Pride Mate, except it costs 1 more, but it has different effects as well. It's a legendary creature, so you can't just spam multiples of it in most decks. I don't know where it'll be in that conjunction, but it's also a very popular character, and at $1 and change, it's like if you want to pick something up, I think this could be pretty good. And I say all of this to say basically there is some value to be had on the market right now if you want to pick up some stuff cheap to play later and save ideally. You know, I have tried to do some meta calls. I mentioned Lightning when this card was like 120, 130, and I said this is probably going to go up. Yeah, I mean, it's happened here. It does happen. But I think there is still some fun value to be had in the set. Obviously, when more product is released, the prices are going... As more hits the market, prices will naturally drop. This set is going to be in print for a long time. Now, we may not see some of the collector booster exclusive stuff unless they rewave it later or whatever, but there's still some really good potential value in here, some good pickups and stuff that I think will certainly age well in the future. So look around. Maybe you'll find some picks that you like. And if you think I missed something, let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.